I live? My mic's on? All
Okay. Hello, everyone. Today's class is another open discussion, so feel free to ask your questions in the chat. Someone's asking, is there a technique or focus I can do to immediately lower blood pressure?
Coconut water. Yeah, it's a combination of food and breath, pranayama, and concentration. Not the sweet coconut water either. The real coconut water. The real coconut water. Real coconut water. There's several things you can do. There's Ayurveda. The Ayurveda book goes into that too. But definitely deep breathing, relaxation, and the right foods and drinks can lower your blood pressure immediately. If they email me, I send them the book too as well. It's an encyclopedia. You can just reference the ailment. Any other questions?
Not yet.
Somebody emailed me a question. Someone emailed me a question speaking about blanking the mind and said there was a exercise given in a book teaching them how to blank the mind. Um, it's a negative practice anyway. A hermetic book. Anyway, blanking the mind is not right, especially and especially at beginning stages of practicing yoga or mystic practices. In order for you to blank your mind uh, successfully without any type of interference, you have to have control over your conscious mind and be able to at least concentrate and contemplate to a certain degree. I know that they mentioned that I said it can be done under certain conditions. Those conditions are later on when you are more advanced and you have control over your conscious mind, and you have a degree of psychic ability to guard against the interference that can happen when you blank your mind. Uh, Blanking your mind is like at the end of the day when you get ready to go to bed at night, you go and unlock your door and then prop your door open and then go get in the bed and fall into a deep sleep. That's essentially what you're doing when you blanking your mind, because you open your aura up and your mental body's up for anyone to come and play with. That's how you can get possession. That's how you can open your body up to all type of negative thoughts, thought forms, because while you are thinking and just naturally, just natural activity of the mind, what it does, it creates some type of field around you to to attract and repel certain things. And we live in a sea of distorted mind substance. If you have any type of psychic ability, you'll see that there's a huge amount of gray substance floating around us, and this is negative energy. This is the negative. This is the chitta that's been turned to manas on a very negative level, and that's what we live in. So we live in all this pollution. So, but because of our aura and our mental bodies and our state of operation, our mental operations, we repelled a lot of this negative stuff that doesn't belong to us at the level in which we're trying to evolve through the ladder of evolution. But when you blank your mind, you open yourself up to all these different things. So that's why we're taught not to blink our mind, and to focus your mind. So it's not a good practice of blinking the mind. It's not a good practice at all. And stay away from anyone who tell you to do that. In advanced metaphysics, yes, you can do it, but you can also put a shield up to stop any type of interference while doing that.
Okay. Why am I so loud?
Any other questions?
Yes. When I start focusing in stillness, I consistently start feeling a cool breeze above my head or even on my forehead. It gets very noticeable. What is the breeze?
Everybody have different things. It could be a number of things. Uh, some people feel detached from the body, and they feel like they right above the body. That might be something you feel in your consciousness rise when you effectively go into the silence or go into some type of state of concentration or contemplation. You'll notice that your consciousness rise, and sometimes it rise within the aura slightly above the body. So that might be the feeling that you're feeling. that's a basic feeling. So don't go off and think you have did it. So you got many more steps to go. But that's one of the basic feelings that people go through.
Do you know of any intense metaphysical workshops for pranayama, mantra, etc.? Or have you ever considered running one?
I ran several of them. So, but normally when you do it, it's a small group of people. Um, but personally, I don't know anyone out there that's doing it. In my opinion, that's doing it correctly. You have some basic pranayama and mantra things that did by their society. I don't know if they do it on a regular basis though, and they stay close to the to the teachings uh, more than anybody else I know.
Jack, as a follow up to that, stay tuned. We may be planning some seminars and workshops in the year in 2020 or in years coming. Depends on the feedback we get from our audience. Right, everyone, give me a few seconds. I'm going to see if I can figure out issues with the audio.
Is it my audio? What it need to say what? What the number need to be? Okay. What? What'd you say?
610.
Mic check for 610.
Yeah, yours is good. Let me swap mics with you, Nehemiah.
Huh? It's still not working?
Oh, it's good now. All right, we'll try it for a few more minutes, and if it's still
All right. There's any other questions?
At the end of a lecture on the chakras, Dr. King recommends a book about the chakras being related to the solar system, but he couldn't remember the name. Do you know the name of this book?
Not not really. I think it was the Serpent Power book, and I also think it was the. There's two books that go into that. I think the Serpent Power and the Nature Final Forces, and I think also there were several books. The Garden of Letters talks about it a little bit. So it's several books that go into that. Also, I think in the Secret Doctrines uh, they refer to that, but they give the chronological some type of chronological play on it, where not only that the chakra or that rim is related to a particular planet, but there's also an energy radiating from the planet that go into those particular realms that chakra govern, because each chakra is actually a state of consciousness. And there was cosmic beings that made a sacrifice in order to hold that state of consciousness here on Earth. Uh, Esoteric Healing, yeah, by Alice Bailey, yeah. So there's several books that actually talk about that and relate the chakras to the planets, to the solar system. Yeah. Yeah, I have diagrams online. I think they might be online. I have diagrams from the classes that go into that. I mean, we went deep into it,
Yeah,
actually.
they're on Facebook.
They're on Facebook too?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I hope that answered your question.
Can we say prayers in the tone of the AUM? Vicars in church often seem to have this resonance.
What what are they saying now? What do they mean by that? I don't know about that. I mean, the AUM has a specific procedure of how to say the AUM, how to curl the tongue, the emphasis on A, U, and M, and the position that tongue needs to be in on each letter. So that's a scientific method in order to pull on the energy coming from the solar lords. So of the sun. So or what they call Vishnu. So I don't know. I mean, the dynamic prayer method is that you put your emotions in the prayer in order to impregnate the prayer with the thought, the prayer energy with the thought that you are releasing, that you bring it into your body and releasing back out into the to your target. That's why that's the reason for the voice and the emotional input into the voice, a positive emotional signature that you want to place on that energy, so that energy can have a certain signature to it, so that when it reaches target, it can that energy can go into operation to do whatever you need it to do. But I mean, that's the method of prayer. I don't know if the tone. I can't say you give it a specific tone, but you have to put a specific level of interest and love into the prayer, so because the love energy is the thing that carries the prayer energy from point A to point B.
Everyone, can you let me know how the audio is, if it's better, worse? Okay.
It's still acting up. Oh, this myself. I always have my cell phone on. Here, read this to, cause that's another question somebody sent me.
Okay. I was wondering what I am feeling when I do rhythmic breathing and start to feel like my body is loosened from me. I feel light, and once when I did some pranayama in the sun, I felt like the wind was blowing. It was blowing directly on me, even though I had a shirt on.
Okay. Um, when we do pranayama, pranayama is like um, it's a form of mantra. Matter of fact, that we want to. So what happens when you do pranayama, your aura begins to spin as well, and the molecules within the aura begin to eventually rub against each other. So you can have those type of feelings from pranayama. Um, so don't get alarmed. As the better you get at it, a lot of these side effects will begin to lessen to the point where it's not disturbing, because you understand exactly what's going on. So just push forward, you know. Yeah, yeah, and that's the sensation that you're feeling. So um, so you have to get used to it, and once you get used to it and understand the benefits of it, then it won't bring about the alarmist type attitude that most people take.
Do you know anything about the civilizations of Maldek, Lemuria, Atlantis? Even the names of cities or leaders, or have any stories survived? Or are they only in the Akashic records?
I, there's many books on this or stories that's been told. Um, I think the to give credit, uh, Meldeck was introduced by Dr. George King. There might have been other names for that planet before, but he gave some of the clearest information on it in the last, I guess, in the last 70 some years. Before that, it was in mystery, and it was in allegory. Even I think even Madame Blavatsky spoke about Meldeck, but she didn't call it Meldeck. But she put it in some type of allegory or mystery, and the people who came before her did the same thing. So, but Dr. George King came and just told us it was located here, and it was destroyed, and now it's the asteroid belt, and it was a civilization of these type of people. You can just go read his book. Um, he did it. I think he did it in two books. He spoke about it, and also in the Cosmic Voices. So three at least three major publications he spoke about it. And you are responsible in the Nine Freedoms, and also in articles of the Cosmic Voice that they publish. The Lemurians was spoken about in the Secret Doctrines. I think also Isis Unveiled, and also Esoteric Psychology by Alice Bailey. The Secret Doctrines, Isis Unveiled, was written by Madame Blavatsky, H.P. Blavatsky, Helen P. Blavatsky, and the Esoteric Psychology 1 and 2 was written by Alice Bailey. And both of them go deep into the Lemurians and Atlantis. And there's other writers inside the Theosophical Society that talks about it. I think those two are some of the most credible writers. I think Anna Besant also. I think she wrote something on it. I would three. So Annie Besant, Madame Blavatsky, and Alice Bailey. I would read their teachings on those things.
Loretta, can you expand on your question a bit more? I'm not sure what you're asking. Do you recommend we avoid eating garlic and onions? Some yogis avoid this, I heard.
That's a personal choice for yourself, depending on what you're doing and what you're practicing. Uh, no, yeah, it's not like eating meat. Yeah. But the reason why they say that is in the beginnings of trying to develop, uh, trying to gain control over Kundalini, certain foods tend to inhibit uh, the rise of Kundalini uh, because of the side effects they have on the body. That's all. Because one of the things you have to do in those early days of trying to move the power of Kundalini, and you gain the control over your mind, you have to gain control over your digestive system, because your digestive system is the thing that pollutes the the body and the mind quicker and faster than anything, and it's very it distracts the mind. You know, like onions give you gas or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what it does, it has the body concentrating on the gas or the upset stomach, and and then the mind have to keep going back in there to make adjustments, and so that's why they tell you to avoid certain foods, and that's why they tell you to fast,
Mm-hmm.
because when the digestive system don't have so much work to do, then you can withdraw the senses from that and put the senses somewhere else. So is that's one of the reasons why they tell you to do that.
But I found as well that as I've continued practicing, uh, my body will tell me what to eat and what not to eat.
Yeah, it will. Eventually, it will. But you'll know when you try to go into the silence and you have all this stuff going on, and then you say, "Well, I shouldn't have ate that onion soup or that sandwich with all those onions on it, or well, whatever it is,"
Mm-hmm.
because it affects your ability to concentrate.
Is also, do you recommend? So also, you recommend avoiding meat, but are eggs okay?
Well, if you're going to be a serious student, you need to become a vegetarian, but then that's still a personal choice too. But there's three types of the way I was taught. There's three types of vegetarianism. There's there's a vegetarian that only eat vegetables. They don't eat dairy products. They don't you know eat poultry. But then the second type of vegetarian is that vegetarian who eats vegetable products and also eat dairy. Right? So, huh? Yeah. So then the third type of vegetarian is that vegetarian that eats vegetables, but also eats fish and chicken and maybe turkey, which is poultry. They eat dairy, fish, and poultry. So, which is fish, chicken, and turkey, I think. So that's the third type of vegetarian. Uh, you know, I myself, most of my life, I was a strict vegetarian. I did introduce dairy later on in my life, uh, but um, but yes, I believe in vegetarianism.
It is a full moon today. Should we fast on the full moon?
No, you usually fast on the new moon. You feast on the full moon. You fast on the new moon.
What do you know about yin yoga slash meditation? Do you know where it has been most practiced in the world? Yin, Y-A-N, like yin and yang. Yin.
I don't know. I mean,
Right.
that's not one of the major yogas. I heard of yin and yang, but that's not one of the major yogas unless it's translated differently somewhere. I try to stick to the traditional yogi teachings coming from the Vedas and Upanishads. So
Do you have any insights or resources on how to strengthen the aura to repel mites, viruses, bacteria, etc.? As I am noticing they are everywhere.
I mean, that's I gave a book out to I don't know if I gave it. Just had them send me an email and I give them a book on Ayurveda. They have all those type of techniques in there.
You were speaking about how the Senate Kumara and Great White Brotherhood created our bodies as vehicles for us. So, are they responsible for the mystic constitution of man? How did this work? Did they also create all the other animals because we share DNA with them? Can you talk more about this? Is there reference material I can read more about it?
I didn't say the Great White Brotherhood did that. I said Senate Kamara. Go and study the esoteric psychology 1 and 2 by Alice Bailey. She goes deep into that. There's I think the Tibetan uh, a Tibetan who was part of the Great White Brotherhood. He releases those ancient teachings to the world through her about the Senate Kamar when he came here and when they set up the city of Shambhala. One of his jobs was to fabricate a physical vehicle so that man can go through his lessons here on Earth. He was asking, could I go into that? He was asking that they are they responsible for the mystic constitution of man, right? That's what he was asking, right?
Yes.
Hmm. No, not really. That's been around for a while. It's been around for a while. Uh, but what happened was because of the destruction of Meldick, mankind had a peculiar uh, uh, auric body, and when he was introduced to the Mother Earth, uh, uh, it caused a metamorphosis to the Mother Earth. The Mother Earth had to lower her vibrations, and when she lowered her vibrations, she had to create the lower hells of this earth. She had to manifest the lower hell, bring about them so that so that so that we can be housed here, or Meldick man can be housed here. So so what happened was the Meldick man uh, ended up spending hundreds of thousands of years on the lower astral realms, and 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 so then one of the things was to bring someone like Senator Kamara, who was a master. Uh, they say he was the keeper of the flame on the planet Venus. Uh, uh, to come here on Earth, and he came here in his full aspect. So in order for him to be here on his full aspect, they had to create the city of Shambhala that can contain him. It can contain his aspect, this full aspect. And when he got here, he split that full aspect into 6 different aspects in order to stay around us according to legend, in order to be here. And then he began to 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 create to do the comic manipulation in order to allow man to be released from the lower astral realms and reincarnate throughout the physical realms. And when he came here, he also brought, I think they said, 48 other cosmic masters with him. And then not only the 48 cosmic masters came with him, but it is said that when you can go back and read all this, but it's written in code. You go back and read the Secret Doctrines, the Isis Unveiled, several books talks about this. It said that uh, because of the loss of Melday and because of the sacrifice of the Mother Earth, it caused cosmic beings from all over the galaxy to ascend here on Earth to give aid to help the Senate Kamar and to help the Senate Kamar and the Cosmic Masters and the Mother Earth bring about a stabilization here on Earth and to protect the Mother Earth as well. So and it's not that they created the Mystic Constitution; they followed the the comic law, the cosmic comic law of how they would build a body that can house the peculiar negative comic pattern or auric pattern that was formed from the destruction of a great cosmic being's body. So that was a whole, and because of that, there was a tremendous intensification of of uh, of density to this earth because of the introduction of Meldick man. So is
Can you use the mic?
And it's sure you're sure that Senator Kamara came in his full aspect.
yeah, he came in his full aspect. Came in his full aspect.
Did all the other life streams, plants and animals, etc., from Maldek come with us here?
Yeah, all life forms came here. that we know of. All life forms that was on that planet came here. In fact, over the 18,600,000 some thousand years since Meldick Man been here, this planet have been referenced or called a pedia, what do you call
Penal,
it? Yeah,
like a prison colony.
a prison colony, uh, because because of what happened to Meldick. So it's almost been like I don't know, a caged bird or something.
Hmm.
And in the ancient teachings, they call us the fallen angels. You know, so and in the Bible, when they call the fallen angel, who was the fallen angel in the Bible?
The ones who were thrown out of heaven, that was different. That was,
Lucifer. so so when you go back and read those ancient teachings, that's what they talking about. They talking about the civilization of Meldick, the fallen angels. Yeah, it was built for the Senate Kamar because they needed that type of comic manipulation in order to stop the deterioration of the planet. See, with his great presence here, it held up karma for for mankind. The negative karma that was supposed to hit mankind, it couldn't happen in his presence and in the presence of the 48 cosmic beings that came to assist him.
Okay,
Right.
so he is known as the one in whom we live and breathe.
Not really. I mean, you could look at the Earth and the solar system, the galaxy as that, because the galaxy is Jehovah. The one the Jehovah that they talk about in the Bible is actually the Milky Way. That's Jehovah.
Right, but I'm talking about in Alice Bailey's book or in Manuel Blavatsky, they refer to him as the one in whom we live and breathe because of his relationship with the
Well, they refer to him that we live by the grace. We live by His grace and by the grace of the logos of earth.
okay.
That's who they talking about. The Senate Kamara and the logos of the earth.
Okay, so if our live streams if you look at the first Adam and how every live stream had to be introduced to this planet through the logos of the planet, and now that he is essentially tied to that logos, does that mean that he is bound to the logos until all of us ascend?
No, because Senate Kamara left in 1956, and the Lord Buddha took his place, which the Lord Buddha is now the new Senate Kamar. But it's that's how that position could not be taken away. It had to be filled by someone. So and it's strange now that that there's a Buddha, there's a statue of Buddha in almost everybody's house, whether they believe in Buddha or not. So people can't explain that. You go, somebody go and buy a house, and what do they want to do? They want to say, "Well, I got to get me a Buddha." They don't know why they doing that. Subconsciously, that's why they doing it, because the Lord Buddha took the place of Senate Kamara. When his time, comically, when his time was up, when that aspect of Senate Kamara was up. So the Lord Buddha came on as the new Senate Kamara. But yes, we live by the grace of the masters. And we say we live by the grace of the masters is because of this great being like Senate Kamara, Lord Buddha, the logos of the earth. That's why we live here. Other than that, things would just, it would just rip apart, you know. Oh, okay. Is there Any other questions? That was a good question. Who asked that question?
That was Jack,
Okay.
Mr. Stafford. So the masters were here for so long, so many millions of years. Do they have a different concept of time than us?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah.
That's interesting that position cannot be vacated.
No, it can't.
So does that mean the Lord Buddha raised to the level of a Kumara?
And Lord Buddha was a very advanced being. He was very very advanced being. So I mean, a lot of these beings we don't know how advanced they are. But we know that the Lord Buddha was greater than Jesus, and yet they came from the same planet. You know, but we know that according to the masters, several masters, that Lord Buddha was Jesus' elder brother. That's how they talked about it. He was far more advanced than Jesus.
It says always in the now.
Mm.
I guess they're referring to the time question. It says always in the now. The masters.
Yeah, I mean, time does not exist. When you gotta these cosmic beings, they are like
It's a dimension, so it can be.
yeah, they're like galactic lords almost to a certain degree. They you know they don't live in time cycles the way we live in. The only reason why we live in time cycles is because we're doing massive corrective karma. You know, so our consciousness was split up into different parts, and then we get this window of 70, 90 to 100 years in order to correct a certain part of our ladder of evolution, and then we go through a stage of initiation of death. We go to another realm, and we correct it there, and then we dial for that realm and go to the next realm and correct it there. The cycle just keep going. So that's the only reason is because we have inhibited the greater part of us. And now the thing that burns that up and get us above that is raising the power kundalini up to the crown chakra and ascending, and then you become a part of, you become an avatar, which is really a devata, which now you move according to the law of karma. You make no movement, no thought outside of that law. You stick within the law, and because of that, you gain greater and greater and greater and greater power. And now everything around you depends on you. You become like a miniature sun, where everybody around you depends on you. So that's where everybody's headed. That's where everybody's headed. So that's how you have to look at that.
In the Bible, the Master Jesus, after the crucifixion, was able to step out the body and then himself reform it into a risen body and step back into it. But in the 9 freedoms, the female from Earth went to salad number 3.
She was assisted.
She was assistant, yeah.
Yeah.
So do we require assistance to do the same thing that advanced beings can just do on their own?
I think comically, yes. Yes, I do. So yes, because of the comic. I told you we have an unusual comic pattern here on Earth. Yeah. whatever, unusual. So it's told us that we are assisted. It's just like the planet Saturn handles, or the hall of self judgment is a manifestation of Saturn.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we have to go through the hall of self judgment each time. And how does that happen? A cosmic being assists us in going into meditation and placing the the lessons that we need to learn on us for our next several lives.
Mm-hmm.
Then
For reincarnation.
for reincarnation, yeah, for
every
every reincarnation, yes.
Jeez.
So I mean, we have to be assisted over and over and over and over and over. I mean, the air we breathe, the energy we take in is all balanced and balanced, comically balanced, and given to us through the cosmic masters, through the great solar lords of the sun. By the supreme lords of karma on in the solar system, on Saturn, on the sun, is all governed, and the Mother Earth is governed. I mean, we have to, we have to be guided in order to evolve properly, because we screwed up so bad.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that's obvious. That's obvious.
So at what point do we, I guess no, never, but more independent? Because as I'm thinking about the 9 freedoms, even at interplanetary state, we still have to be introduced through a logos of whichever planet we go to.
Yeah.
So we're assisted there. And then even the Saturnians have to spend some time on the sun to go through their meditative
Yeah.
process. And so they're being assisted as well. But is there ever a point where
Where is ever a point where
we're
what?
independent, like self-sustaining?
Well, all of us are connected. See, the whole thing about this whole independence is that all of us are connected. We're connected. We're one. We're one. The only thing that exists in the universe is God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're all connected. We're all dependent, and it's so obvious that when you go out and look outside, everything depends on everything. If the trees all of a sudden decided that they're not going to release oxygen, what happened to us?
We're done for.
If we decide that we're not going to release carbon dioxide, what happened to the trees?
They're done.
So I mean, we're all interrelated.
Mm-hmm.
So it's so obvious that say, why people don't understand this, why we don't get along better. It's just so stupid. So that's the way it is. There's always an exchange of energy in order to promote what? Life.
Mm-hmm.
You have to exchange that energy in order to promote life. So, any other questions?
Yeah, in the 10th, I don't know if it's the 10th blessing, but the master theorist, or it's another transmission. The master theorist talks about we will never be able to repay our karmic debt, save not divine forgiveness, but divine cancellation or something like that. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-mm.
I can't remember the exact term. Well, it's just that it's saying we will never be able to repay our karmic debt to he was talking about, I think it's the galaxy, or to the great ones. He was talking to us. So we'll never be able to return karmic debt, save divine forgiveness or divine cancellation. Like saying, I was wondering about that.
I don't know about that.
You have a copy of the 12 Blessings?
No, not on me. No.
Okay, are there any further questions? Feel free to ask them. Okay, if there are no further questions, then we'll go ahead and close out.
How long we been out?
A little over an hour.
Try to cap it at an hour.
It's usually an hour and 20, 30 minutes.
I think called it divine cancellation. It's in a transmission.
It's not in the. It's not in 12 lesson.
No.
You say it's in. It's in.
It's one of the transmissions. I listen to it frequently.
It's in the 10th blessing.
It's either the 10th blessing or it's in another transmission.
I remember that being in the 10th blessing. I remember saying that you cannot repay this debt. That was said several times.
Yeah.
And I understand the only way the debt can be repaid is through the full absorption back into the absolute.
Mm-hmm.
That means you gave eons and eons of service. But then the question is, are you repaying the debt even at that point?
Question is, are you repaying the debt or?
Yeah, the question is, are you repaying the debt even at that point? Because it took a lot of support for you to get there.
Yeah, but then I mean, I guess the larger question is there really a debt to pay?
You know,
If you are,
if you're part of the whole.
if you're part of the whole.
There's no other questions?
No. Okay. We'll close out. Oh, one final question. Did the logos of Maldek reincarnate?
We would hope that the logos of Meltec did. I don't know. That question was asked to Dr. King as well. Did the logos of Earth,
Maldek.
of Meltec reincarnate? We will hope that it did. The great cosmic being, it can do what it needs to do.
You mean as a planetary logos?
As a planetary logos, yeah.
New Lord's Prayer. O divine and wondrous Spirit, O everlasting Lord of hosts, send forth now through me thy great and lasting power. Allow me, Almighty God, the lasting privilege of radiating to all the world thy great love, so that those who suffer may be given the power and energy to rise above their weaknesses. Almighty God, in great humility do I ask you to send forth your power to give to me this great lasting privilege of being a channel, so that my suffering brothers may be helped and guided and healed and lifted into thy light, so that they who know not may look up and in doing so receive to their higher selves your divine counsel. Almighty God, this day have you granted me a divine privilege. I ask you now to give to me the strength, so that never again will I turn from my inner vision of you. O great peace, great peace, great peace. In praise of your greatness, O God, doth my soul sing, granted energy to sing on forever and forever. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.